So, Colin, I heard you have some D&D stories. Would you mind sharing one of them?
Oh, not at all. Actually, it's quite a hobby of mine to even talk about the creative exploits. So, really the hardest thing is just to pick which one. I think probably one of my better ones, or oftentimes there would actually be in the first games I've ever played. At least with the second DM I ever really played in, or in the games of. I think that there are a lot of sort of rituals that are sort of unique to those games that built up, and some of them would be kind of really hilarious. One of the major, really, really funny things actually was this thing called the Fun Plane.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in D&D there are these things called planes of existence. It's pretty self-explanatory as to what they are. It's just, you have these worlds that, are where people reside versus where demons reside versus where angels reside versus whatever the hell else. And so this one area, the Fun Plane, it's basically just a white room. I'm not talking about walls and ceiling. It was it's just white void everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about it is that sort of we were told going in that any wish that was made could be granted, but the thing is it would be subverted constantly, because all of the wishes were sort of rigged to guarantee death. It's oh man, I'm trying to remember a good one. There are so many, it's really hard to remember a particular one. I just remember, what I do remember is that frequently there would be a thing. Well, it wasn't frequently, really just what happened was the DM he had mentioned earlier destroying the universe by a paradox 0 times 1 equals 1. And so I sort of I wished that at the very beginning one time sort of blew everything out. But there was actually I should clarify. The wishes were either subverted so that you would die or subverted so that they wouldn't do anything. So you had a lot of person. This is this one guy wishing for a gun or something, and then there would be no bullets for the gun, and then he'd wish there would be bullets and the thing was jammed, and there'd be a bunch of different things that were wrong all the time. Mm-hmm. The one exception actually was this one kid. He was a little crazy. He just wished for to be on a boat with a bunch of skeletons singing Old Man River. They granted that just weird enough on its own, so everybody could just laugh without any kind of issue whatsoever. Actually, one of the times I wished it was for this pile of breadsticks, because there was a meme in this whole meme. Death comes for you with breadsticks. Mm-hmm. Basically, every time you died, you would get a breadstick after you came back. So I would just wish for a pile of breadsticks to appear with music calling out to it, because I figured if people ate the breadsticks, they would die. And so what happened is, and I made sort of wish that they were not anywhere. Well, they were specifically 10 feet away from me, so that the wish didn't cause them to appear right over me and suffocate me. Which, so what happened is, they appeared 10 feet above me, and they fell on me, and I suffocated and died. It was just and then the DM is you forgot up. And it was kind of hilarious, actually. So yeah, that's one of the that was really the hallmark of those games before they got more serious. That was not really under that DM. Because that DM, he was sort of playing with us back when we were like, 10, 11, 12, and not really all that focused on like doing something
Interesting.
focused.
Do you have a particular favorite D&D story, like one that particularly strikes you in some way?
Well, you have to categorize it, I guess, because I mean, like, I have sort of like, badass moments where I've done something awesome with the character. I have like a few others that are just like interesting more from like a pure story perspective, like dynamics and stuff like that. It's I guess like start with the badass moments. I mean, like one of the better ones, I think. It actually like. It involved this game in which we were all like stuck in these like cages. Because basically there's this wizard guy who was gonna brainwash us since we were like involved in fate and all of that crap. Mm-hmm. And because of that, we were all like relatively powerful compared to everyone else in the universe. Although my character, I'm using that as the least powerful out of all of them by far, because I built him terribly. Intentionally, by the way, but what happened was, so we were all trapped, and most of those guys could get out pretty easily. My character couldn't because his build was basically almost purely social. Mm-hmm. Basically, I would bluff my way out of most things, but so what I did was I tried to pull like I tried to pull like an obvious trope and a clever lie, and basically what I said to the guy is, because, well, to explain it, we each had a moniker in the prophecy we were part of. Like there was a person who was like the Earthquake or something, and there's like a few others who are other things. My character was referred to as the Thousand-Faced Killer because he's like an assassin with like a shape-shifting gemstone. But, so what he said is, you want to know why I'm called Thousand-Faced Killer? Because I am the perfect spy. I can improvise in any situation the best way to keep myself alive and in the game. And if you turn me into a meat puppet, into a slave, then I can't do that. I operate under your every command. So do you really want someone with all the usefulness stripped away from them when you can have me 100% willingly? And so like I went on like this for a while actually, and what happened? Because I kept rolling natural 20s on my bluff checks, and I had like a huge modifier anyways. This is like his sole like min-max thing. The guy was like staying there like listening, and the sole reason he hadn't let me out I think is because everyone else had escaped by then. So that sort of like delayed him acting upon what I was doing, and so. That was actually pretty fun. I mean, there are a few other cases where I did other things, like, I mean, it sort of depends on how long you want me to go. Should I, like, stop here, or should I?
Now, another question. You said that you had built your character terribly intentionally. Care to explain that?
Oh, well, see, I was sort of focusing on, like, how to explain it? Like, I was making sort of character designed first of all, with like a specific backstory in mind, which required like some monkish martial arts skill and some like rogue skill. So I had to like split between those a bit. Second of all, I was sort of building a character that had like, well, monks and rogues, they're a little bit of cross purposes. They both are pretty good at sneaking around, but rogues tend to use charisma like a fuck ton more, and monks will use strength a lot more. Since my character was being focused on bluff specifically, because I was making a spy, I sort of put a bunch into charisma, but I didn't really have enough to put in like strength and physical combat things and stuff like that. On top of that, the DM didn't really use magic items precisely, so I couldn't really shore that out. So I just sort of like built what I, felt like building that fit with the character idea. And though I am in no way knocking people who like prefer building more optimized characters because they can roleplay too, this character, sort of the ideal build is not totally optimized, more just sort of like from left field. Although they could fight actually. It's not impossible for this person. I couldn't get recording out. Wait, could you stop recording?
Oh.